from the Timber TV studios, this is Timber Talk. Here is Brady Goldman and Sawyer Regan.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Sawyer Regan.
And I'm Brady Goldman.
We had lots of exciting games over the past week, so let's start with boys hockey. The boys on the ice, having lost 2 out of their last 3, were looking to get back on track versus the Milton Wildcats, who beat Walpole 2-0 back on December 17th. The game started out well for Walpole, with senior Shane O'Donnell scoring in the first 10 seconds. However, that would be the only score of the night for the Timberwolves, as the Wildcats quickly answered twice in the first, and eventually downed the road team 3-1. Then on Saturday, Walpole hosted Natick at the Caddy. This game didn't go much better for the Timberwolves, as they would lose 4-0 in their third shutout loss this season. Walpole then played Hingham on Sunday, which ended in a 3-3 tie, the first of the season for the boys. The boys are currently seated at 11th in Division II with a 7-9-1 record, with a week left to play in the regular season. The Timberwolves, looking ahead, will have their final week of the regular season. The team will travel to Needham on Wednesday before playing their first-round matchup in the Songin Cup against Mansfield on Saturday, with their next opponent being determined by the results from that round.
Having lost 3 out of their last 4 and slipping in the Division II rankings, girls hockey had 2 pivotal matchups against Milton and Natick last week. Sadly, these are 2 games that the squad wishes to forget, as they lost 5-0 to the Wildcats and 4-0 to the Red Hawks, totaling their 4th shutout losses of the season. The girls, despite the many losses, are still ranked at 23 with a 5-9-2 record in the extremely tough Bay State Conference. Looking forward, the girls will have their senior night against Needham on Wednesday before playing their final 2 games over February break against Ursuline and Mansfield next Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively.
After having a pretty rough stretch in the season and multiple injuries causing the team to become shorthanded, boys basketball had 2 games last week that could have decided their postseason fate. They traveled to Milton on Tuesday, where the Wildcats got their revenge over their early season heartbreak to the Timberwolves, beating 69-63. Then on Friday came senior night against Natick, where the 5 seniors for Walpole were honored. From there on out, the atmosphere was on a different level, with a close back-and-forth game that eventually resulted in a 26-20 lead for Walpole at the half. The Timberwolves would go up by as many as 10, but the Red Hawks clawed back, making it a 1-point game in the fourth. However, the Timberwolves hung on just barely, winning 49-46, securing their 9th win of the season, and are 1 step closer to postseason qualification for the first time in 3 years. There were many contributors in this game, but junior Nate McClark led the way in scoring with 14, with Ryan McDonald adding 9 and Shane Harrington dropping 8. Ryan McDonald is now just 16 points away from 1,000 in his career. Walpole started out the week poor, but ended it with a decisive victory over a Kerry Division foe on senior night. The Timberwolves are currently 24th in Division II with a 9-7 overall record. The team can automatically qualify for this postseason this week, either against Needham on Tuesday or the 0-15 Weymouth Wildcats on Thursday.
Girls basketball had 3 games last week. They first played Westwood in a game they dominated from start to finish. The Wolverines actually had a small 2-point lead after 1, but then the Timberwolves took off, winning 67-35 in dominating fashion. Then the very next day, the Timberwolves had to take on a sneaky good Milton team. However, this was never much of a game, with Walpole essentially holding a double-digit lead for a majority of the second half and winning this one by a 62-36 final. Katie McDonald and Bella Bingham were each the leading scorers for Walpole, totaling 15 points each. Then on Sunday, it was time for the rescheduled game against Weymouth. To put it nicely, the Wildcats wished this game was canceled, as they scored just 1 measly free throw in the first quarter and eventually lost 69-45 to the mighty Timberwolves. These 3 results put Walpole at a very strong 13-3 record, with senior night looming. Walpole moved just a bit to 6th Walpole moved down just a bit to 6th in the Division II power rankings. There you go. That brings us to senior night, and probably the highest stakes senior night this year for Walpole sports. Walpole will play Needham with a chance to win the Bay State Conference for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Needham God damn it. Let's go back up. The tongue twister. Yeah, just go to the start of the segment. Alright, yeah. Alright, 3, 2, 1. That brings us to senior night, and probably the highest stakes senior night this year for Walpole sports. Walpole will play Needham with a chance to win the Bay State Conference for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Needham holds one of Walpole's 3 losses this year in a 59-56 overtime showdown back on December 23rd. If Walpole wins this, then they will win the Bay State Conference. This game is at 6:30 with Sawyer and I on the call, so attendance is 100% mandatory for the biggest game by far in the very young field house. Walpole will also travel to Natick on Thursday, and then we'll play Cathedral High School on Saturday.
The boys track team finished 3rd at the Bay State Conference Championship meet last Wednesday. Big performances came from Arnold Abuot-Mensah, who came 2nd in the 55-meter with a PR, and Nick DeMello, who finally hit 50 feet in the shot put and also came 2nd. Looking ahead, this Thursday, the boys will compete at the Division III Championship meet at the New Balance track. The boys are projected to be contending for a state championship on Thursday, and relays will likely play a huge part. And that's going to do it for us this week. I'm Sawyer Regan.
And I'm Brady Goldman.
So long from the Timber TV studios, and good luck to all the teams finishing up their regular season. We'll see you for the playoffs.